Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First, I give all thanks to the Almighty Allah, who is the cherisher and sustainer of the universe. And I also give thanks to the organizers for giving me the opportunity to make a few remarks. As the chairman admitted, marriage indeed is a noble institution as far as Islam is concerned, and everything humanly possible must be done to ensure that it holds till we go back to our Creator, unless where it becomes critically necessary for it to be severed. Shida keijemo aha Allahu le moni le klenklen emegbe dani no se meni chehi na abua mone hu ihami ibe ake inwi nuku ta ake senotalo wie blanchin le eji nuku ni sa ake woke wuke bule ale eja ake ye Islam jamo mi na kanji wu ke bule ni nyumbo ke hale ni sa ake wo mode ake wo ba fe no fe no wo ba nye ni wo ke bayi wona fe ni gbala aka fite jaheni agbene game ke nu efima ni isake ahani menyo amete achele numbo aka ni nakai lukuba yewoshinle. Imam Ibrahim Amate, Sheikh Ibrahim Amate, I want to continue from where he ended, where he quoted a verse in Surah Rum, Quran chapter 30, verse 21. And I just want to spell out the necessary ingredients Allah mentioned in the verse. Allah says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُم مَّوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. There are three ingredients mentioned in this verse. Quran chapter 30, verse 21. That of all the signs, the wonders of Allah, is that from amongst your own selves, He created your spouses for you, so that you may dwell with them in peace and tranquility. And beyond that, He put between you love and compassion. So there are three things: living in peace and tranquility, being compassionate towards one another, and then loving one another. It is these three ingredients that will ensure that we have a happy and successful marriage. Numboke okadi elefe hawo ekodi yewo so wote ami ebo wo ifatalo e hawo nu oka ma hinshi ye tuwe njolemi ni eke suomo ke mobo namo wo tuami blanchin le fe ni bi etenepe jinoni isake anayemi ni abayin shiye tuwe njolemi ni ameba na amehimobo nuwe ba na yuwe mobo ni yuwe ba na nuwe mobo ke agbene ni ameba sumo amehe te wo ba fe te wo ba she ne kengle no. How are we going to build a successful marriage? When the marriage was officiated, usually, as far as Islam is concerned, there is something known as the Khutbatul Haja, that is the sermon of necessity, which we are told that more often than not, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited those verses anytime he had to deliver a sermon. And the central theme that runs through all those three verses of the Quran is taqwa, which has been defined variously by different companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And for the purpose of this gathering, I just want to cite two of those companions. So my name, tell about faith me wo blanchin le ni wo ro mi wo ba hi mi ahun ke ashi keji nyumba sumo gbele ba chile wote clean no jawona noni achola ke takwa me use word there takwa e ja ke papo mimba macho nona chola ke takwa ni minta wa mako balo Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ikase lo enyo boni amegbala takwa ni ameha kase lo ko mina chola ke Ubay bin Ka'b radiyallahu anhu leji moni Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu bilake Ubay mimi ji takwa ne ke amirul mu'minin ile ake do fe wahi nyelo do wa chon mi no ni ji takwa ni Umar ke dadi min suwoni manu ke jona ni ebi Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu ake ani okobe o fagbe ke yin egbeko ni na kan gbe me ke to ko ojino ni yo na kan gbe no dan lo ni Umar bin Khattab ke iyi na kan gbe no dan ni Ubay bin Ka'b la ke tefe ten oyi na kan gbe no ike indolon tali eni nwe no ni inkwe ina jimfamo bona fe ni inka na wukolobe kuno ni ye yawi ni Ubay bin Ka'b ke la ke ka ke takwa energy takwa ni obale ona jimfamo bona fe do ka ton oshibo den josusuma ni nyumbo binfun ba ono. The first ingredient for having a successful marriage is to have taqwa. And what is taqwa? Ubay bin Ka'b radiyallahu anhu, this is how he defined taqwa when Umar bin Khattab asked him to define what taqwa was. And he said, "Oh Amir al-Mu'minin, as you are our leader, I had expected you to define taqwa for me." But Umar said, "Yes, I want to hear your own definition." So Ubay bin Ka'b asked him, "Have you traveled on a way that was full of thorns and broken bottles?" He said, "Yes, I can imagine that." So Ubay bin Ka'b asked him, "How did you traverse? How did you travel on that path?" He said, "I rolled up my dress and I was very vigilant in the steps that I took so that I never stepped on something that would have harmed me." Then Ubay bin Ka'b said, "Yes, that is taqwa. Being mindful of the steps that you take so that you do not sin and incur the displeasure of Allah." Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu anhu eke ka ke takwa di klenklen ni oba se nyombo gbe no ni ji enyo ni nyombo jaje mo de ke ha boe o ke ba tuni ni no ni ji eten ni fio e ni nyombo ke dro boe oba de sa ohin ni no ni ji edwe ni oba sa ohi ke megbele energy no ni achola ke takwa. So Sayyidina Ali defined taqwa to mean 1, the fear of Allah; 2, to act in conformity with the revelation of Allah; 3, to be content with the little that you have; and 4, to prepare adequately to meet death. So if we embrace the concept of the fear of Allah and we are reliant on Him, He will see us through our challenges. Noni ji enyo tabrache onugba eke menyo efe ebulu nye yenyo fe nyemi akafu at the same time be me ni wu mi efu yo wu mi efu meji ngahu mi efu. Don't be angry at the same time. If the husband is angry, the wife should be someone who is not angry and urging the husband to forget whatever might have transpired. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah, he was asked, "You have lived with your wife for a very long time. What is the secret of the happiness you were enjoying with your wife?" He said, "When she is angry, I am never angry. And when I am angry, she is never angry." So manyeme, nye yenyo fe nye miyaka fun at the same time. Kenu miye fun yo esheji ewumi. Kedi yo mi efun nu esheje engami keke minche baba. Imam Amate spoke about asking for forgiveness. It is not just about asking for forgiveness. It is about first admitting your error and asking for forgiveness. Let me use an expression in Ghana. Mogoni efeelo onake pafai neke o fai keke mpabu. Eko kokabo yega neke wake fai keke mpabu. Eka ko fai. Nita ba otu oni aso iwo o fai ne. Eta bo bi eso yi. Mo enuko yishi. Klenklen da no ba pafai esa ke onushi ake owie loko. Lo fe loko ni nakaini ehin. O mono ake oton ni agbene obi fa ipa mu keju omo ko no be tun mo ni ke fa keke npa abo e be eke ko no ko be ele ake keke mi npa bo fa e o ba na mi nse keke be san le jolo you must learn to admit your error, your mistakes, and then seek forgiveness for the error you might have committed. Ebo uji esani boke biena woke blema na gbai tonton mo ene ba kesani ko ba no keke wowo blema sane no ekun dabi je na kanji boni sane wofi. You must not keep referring to past mistakes if you want to enjoy your marriage. Like some people say, forgive and forget. You must forgive and forget if you want to have a happy life. Esa ni boke biye na tombo ni ntonye biye o kuse o ya blema ni eneba ni menefine never bring up mistakes of the past. Keji utawoni ona minche ye oblashin lemi. Tobani aha wole ake wo klenklen yelo ye bawo yishin ta flat bawo yishin bani wo bini ewo nu e ba fe loko ni e ba gba ona yo e ba fe loko ni e ba gba ona ni otawoni owie bona fe ni nakantomo ekabadon. You must criticize, but you must criticize lovingly, so that your spouse does not get offended. So by that way, you'll be helping to reform your spouse so that he or she will never repeat that error again. It is also important never to sleep with an unsettled argument. Never sleep with an unsettled argument. Nyenta sajiana agbekuna keke oyawo nije chele keke nakana gba yeje ko wo abasa ni atimi ko ke ebi ni nye shipe ni nakan sane na aye ni anakuna nye bote mi oduba bona fe ni tu indolaba nye shiape ni nyeke boti ya chije be me na bote mi nye bolo nye onye boke. Never shout at one another unless there is fire in the house. Nye ka bola nye wani ewe be me ni no le bella to ye chia ewo oke we ke fo die me fire extinguisher ayo e na no nye bola nye we chike de ni la to ye chia me le wo sane nu e bolo ke wo we lo ju e hu ba bolo ke wo mu dabi. Again, in wrapping up, I just want to say there is the need for us as husbands, as wives, to value our marriages. Allah spoke about our spouses in the Quran when he said, Hunna libasun lakum wa antum libasun lahunna. That you are an apparel, you are a garment, you are a dress. But it is your wives who are the dresses for you, just as you are also dresses for your wives. So who could have walked into this place Look at the number of people who are here. Who could have walked in here naked? No one could have done so unless someone who is mentally derailed. So just as you couldn't have walked in here naked, so must you see your wife as someone who is covering your nakedness. So must you see your husband as someone who is covering your nakedness. And so you would value the marriage. Esake woke wo kebule aha wo blashile. Nyumboke nyengame no ha ni ji ameke hanye. Nyehu no ha ni ji ke hanye ifata loe. Bono wotra hie biye. Mokonye ba bote biye ni taflache eyen ifulu. Jamoni taflache eichokpa echi. Shibona atola hie biye ne. Onye ba bote biye do nyo ya mi. Wesake ona ke onga eha oya ya mi. Ni bohun oha onga ya ya mi. Keke okebule ehale le wekebule ehabo. Na dewie moji, we must communicate effectively. We must communicate effectively. Kewo sumo ni twejole aba nya wolia bonu oba yi. Je me oye flefle je na me pe jijemo. Shi aye boni keji ofie onga lo owule o ti we won ise hale. To mo example ye gami ganyo di mi wo nya keke ami. Kebo wie gane ke obuo me buluwe. Ye gawe mo me mo nto ake call ake luwe inu ko mo no le bi obo ji mo lu. O ba no fo wie mo ko neke no ba bi o ngake obuo me bulu. No ba bi obu ake obuo me bulu. Ni ko na kan bile ebud deche ehi. Bile lo ba ke be neke wie mo ne iwie ahu ma bo bi fu. Mene ni wie ma bo bi fu. Ko ye le shi ape ni ebi mfuku e no eto ake shi ape e no wie mo papa ni o ke gbe no wie le bi fun e be le bi fun dadi je na kan nye ha wo kasia boni wo ke wo ibashma boni wo ke wo ibayi bana Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam e ke engana chola ke Aisha radhiyallahu anha ke bo ile bojo gba ke jo bi fun e ile ni ke jo ye mi nse hunle ni ke ni mo gba lo tefe ten ole keji ye minche tefe oton le o keji mbe minche ike keji oye minche lu fi dua o ko ake bi Rabbi Muhammad shi keji obe minche lu fi dua o ko ake bi Rabbi Ibrahim be fe be lo ake bi Rabbi Ibrahim pe ile ake obe minche shi ona ake Rabbi Ibrahim ke Rabbi Muhammad the same Rabbi nu choko bi e pene shi gba lo e kase enga ni ele ake be fe be ni enya ba aka ke bi Rabbi Muhammad e minche ni ke bi Rabbi Ibrahim e be minche ni Aisha le je confirm ake lele no wie anopale ni. So I cited an example from the wife of the Prophet Aisha radhiyallahu anha. The Prophet told her, I know when you are happy and I know when you are unhappy. So she inquired from the messenger of Allah, how do you know when I'm happy and when I am not happy? He said, when you are happy and you are supplicating, you say, Bi Rabbi Muhammad, by the Lord of Muhammad. But when you are unhappy, you say, Bi Rabbi Ibrahim, by the Lord of Ibrahim. So anytime you say that, I know you are not happy. Then she confirmed, that is true. This indicates that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had studied his wife very well and knew when she was happy and when she was unhappy. And the last example I want to cite about communication. So I want to cite the example of Fatima radhiyallahu anha and her husband Sayyidina Ali radhiyallahu anhu. And I'm talking about communication. These people have been happily married. On one occasion, Fatima said something that displeased her husband. And she noticed that from his countenance. So she said, my husband, if what I said had displeased you, I beg you, forgive me. Sayyidina Ali said, I have forgiven you. Yet he noticed that his facial countenance was still the same. So she went on again to say, my husband, I beg you, please forgive me. He said, I have forgiven you. Yet he realized that it was still same as usual. So she kept on begging for forgiveness until she realized that the husband's face had changed. So she sought permission from the husband and said, I want to visit my father. He said, you can go and visit your father. When Fatima came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, oh father, I was having a conversation with my husband and I said something that displeased him. I sought for his forgiveness. He said he had forgiven me, yet I could see that he wasn't happy. I had to plead with him until the 70th time when I realized that his mood has changed. Scholars have stated that if the Arabs mention the figure 70, what they mean is that the person has done it severally and not necessarily 70 times. So I had to beg him several times before he agreed. As your daughter, should Sayyidina Ali have done what he did to me? Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I swear by Allah, who is in possession of my life, that if Sayyidina Ali had not forgiven you and you had died in that state, I wouldn't have prayed over you, because any woman who would die while the husband is displeased with her would never enter Al-Jannah. It was Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu ekenga Fatima radiallahu anha amengbasani ni Fatima yeloko ni nake ewuhie echake ni ke ewu mi nkpabo fa ekenu ni wie iwi na hin keke eke o keke bu chilora e nake ehie echake ni ke o iwu mi nake o mi efu keke eke o keke bu awun epale fa ishi nyuma ipawo. That is Sayyidina Ali ehie bachake ko de ke la ke o me to ma aslam papa ani manye ma aslam papa lo eke egbe kan o ba anyo ya ni o aslam papa no ba de wone te gba lo Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mo ni eke ake o chata inke u Sayyidina Ali won basane iwe ko ni nake ehie echake impale fa awun shi nyuma ipawo dani inami nse iko ke openu ni Sayyidina Ali fi ni isake efi mi na kando ni ke inanyumo moni hie inwala ye de ake kebe mi ni opa Sayyidina Ali fa e ina o emi nse ni ikeba ke gbogbo kun insole janaza inhambo eja ke yo fe yo de ba gbo be mi ni e fatalo mi fuye no na kan yiwe inan Al-Jannah mi ko eluti wonyumbo ejo wo blanching le neno ihawo nibi ni ba fite wo gbala nyumbo ajie wo kejemi twi meke obi nware ni tamfo Sheikh Ibrahim ate ewie nyemere ne ko onyewu ma phone loko ko utashi no ni inako ko de igbina ko bilake itu or who called you pana kan ni efiemu iwambo ekegbe ya eko it's who called you pana kan ni efiemu kegile egbe na le ke gba ke oshi machine ni fami le ke ebo. It is a question of trust. Keju he mo ye mili wo ke mo ya yin onyumbo ejo no ihawo ni meni ye die ni amenfiake ambana ngame nyumba ha ngame papai meni fiaka ambana wume nyumba ha me wume papai meni ye blanching le mi nini bi etoto ya me blanching le mi nyumbo denje isa ihame nyumbo aha wo se ku wonu oba pe me ko meni yo bie na me be ifata lo amena eko nyumba yajo wa mangana ho hawo nino mo ne ba manse nyumba ka le ko babe manse o mo ke to enjole e wuje hawo wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.